Hello everyone, how are you today? Nice to see you again. And today we are going to begin on our new series on international finance, especially the exchange rates, um, the theories and practices of exchange rates and their movement. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll start with the determination of exchange rates. Um, So if we are talking about the exchange rate and international trade or international finance, we know that the changes in one nation's economy are now quickly transmitted to that nation's trading partner. So it will be, whatever happening to one particular country will transmit, will be contagious to other countries quickly, especially the trading partners of that particular country. So the fluctuations in economic activity will be reflected quickly as well to the currency values. Okay, so when we talk about the modern world, we have um, many regions. Those regions are now integrated, and multinational corporations are also integrated somehow. They could go anywhere. They could um, just get out of the get out of one country immediately. Just use moving foreign direct investment to another place and something like that. So this kind of multinational corporations um, with cross-border production and marketing operations, they will be faced with the potential revaluation and also the valuation of currencies. So let's see the exchange rate system. Actually, this will be discussed more in, I think, the next video um, about the international monetary system. But we know that most of the countries on Earth right now are using the floating exchange rate regime or free floating or market mechanism or market-oriented exchange rate system. However, of course, there are many exceptions. There are many countries that are still using the fixed rate system or the pegged exchange rate regime. So let's see the some definitions first. So we have the definition, the terminology of devaluation and then revaluation, and then we have, of course, the depreciation and appreciation. So if this is based on the fixed rate or the pegged regime, pegged exchange rate regime, then we have devaluation. So as the name suggests, devaluation is the decreasing value of a currency, a decreasing value of a currency. And what is the opposite of devaluation? Of course, is revaluation. Revaluation. So revaluation is an increasing value of a currency. So we call it a devaluation and then revaluation. And we have like another pair for free floating exchange rate regime. So actually, their meanings are quite equivalent or similar, but these are for free floating exchange rate regime, right? Countries with free floating exchange rate regimes. We call it depreciation. So depreciation, again, this means the decreasing value of a currency, but this one happens naturally by the market mechanism or by the free floating mechanism. So uh, there is no or minimum intervention by the government. And what about revaluation? The pair for revaluation is appreciation. So again, see the difference. Devaluation and revaluation are deliberate policies from a certain government. So they do the devaluation or revaluation maybe to increase competitiveness of that country, because it's widely believed that if you devalue your currency deliberately, then your competitiveness, your export prowess might improve. Of course, the empirical evidence does not always agree with this notion, but it's widely believed by many governments. That's why, especially the more what's it like state-oriented countries, right? State-controlled countries, they have more power, and usually they will try to devalue their currencies. On the other hand, depreciation and appreciation uh, happen because of, again, the market mechanism, more naturally through the free-floating system, or again, the market mechanism. But their meanings are equivalent, or more or less the same. Okay, so again, we have two major systems, two major regimes in the world. The first one is free-floating, market-oriented exchange rate regime, and the opposite one is more state control or government control, and we call it more like pact regime or fixed rate regime. Okay, so what is an exchange rate actually? So if we see the word exchange rate, so this is the rate of exchange. This is simply the price of one nation's currency in terms of another currency. So it's very similar to um, the price of the price in the product market. So this is a price of something, but here when we call it an exchange rate, it means the price of one currency in terms of another currency. And we have some terminologies that I'm going to explain in a little while. Have reference currency, and we have spot rate and forward rate. So let me go back to the screen. So if I say this is like dollar per euro, so essentially I'm saying this is the dollar price of euro, right? Dollar price of euro. Uh, I could say, I could quote another currency, currency pair, Korean won per dollar. So this is essentially the won value of dollar, right? So this is the dollar value of euro, or I could say this is the yen value of dollar, right? So the currency that you mentioned in front is called the reference currency. So we call it a reference currency, okay? And the one at the back you can call anchor currency, okay? These are just terminologies or definitions. So again, the one you mentioned in front is the reference currency. So again, I could give another example. You're saying, um, so dollar per pound, this is essentially the dollar value of pound, right? Dollar value of pound. Okay, so let's use number now. What if I say 105, right? $1.05 per euro? So $1, 5 cents per euro. So it means, again, this is a dollar value of euro. So to buy €1, to get €1, I have to sacrifice, or I have to give up $1.05. That's why we call it like $1.05 per euro, right? Or another example, let's say this is 1250. So 1250 wons per dollar. Again, this is the won value of dollar. So to get $1, we have to give up 1250 wons. It's quite easy to imagine, right? Easy to imagine. So this is a quotation. Of course, in our subsequent videos, we'll deal a lot with the bid and ask, and then the some other terminologies called the direct quotation and the indirect quotation, and so forth. But for now, see here, again, it means to get $1, you need to give up, or you need to sacrifice 1250 wons. What if I want to change the a quart? I want to change the quart to dollar per won. This is very simple. You just need to take 1 divided by that number. 1 divided by that number. So again, of this example here, 1250 wons per dollar. So what about dollar per wons? So I can do here 1 divided by 1250. So let me calculate it. So this is 0.0008. So this is dollar per won, KRW. Right? So here, 0.0008 dollar per won. Okay. But what about this one? Is $1.05 per euro. So what about euro per dollar? So same thing here. You take 1 divided by that number. Right. So this would be okay. So 95 and 24. So this is what, euro. So 95 cents per dollar. 95 cents euro. Right? 95 euro cents, sorry. 95 euro cents per dollar. So just 1 divided by that number. So it's quite simple, very, very straightforward. Okay, so what is the difference between spot rate and forward rate? I think this is very famous. Spot, if you hear the word on the spot, it means right now. Of course, right now. So spot rate means you make the deal right now. So spot, you make the deal right now. And the delivery is also right now. Right now could mean about maybe T plus 2 or 3 maximum. So T plus 2 days is still considered spot rate. It's still considered a spot, spot rate or spot transaction. So the deal is made right now, and the delivery is also conducted right now, or maximum maybe T plus 2 or T plus 3. So it's about right now. Okay, so there's some additional days allowed, right, to be considered a spot transaction. On the other hand, for the forward rate here, forward rate, see the name forward. So the deal is made right now. Okay, for the forward rate, the deal is made right now, but the delivery will take place sometime in the future, maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe the next 2 months, or yeah, anything in the future. So the deal is made right now. So we agree upon something right now, agree upon a transaction right now, but the delivery will take place maybe next week, next month, or something like that. So sometime in the future. That's the difference between spot rate and forward rate, and we'll see We'll see them a lot in our subsequent videos. And we have to realize that foreign exchange market, unlike the product and service markets, they're not essentially they are not. This is not a physical place. So this is like electronically linked network of banks, traders, brokers, dealers, and all sorts of financial, not financiers or financial players. So uh, so the function of the information and communication technology has become more and more, I think, vital to uh, decrease the potential arbitrage that could be enjoyed by those financial players, and we're going to see this more and more again in our subsequent videos. So like a product market, the exchange rate market also has an equilibrium position, or we call it like the balance or equilibrium, or in the a fundamental position here. And we use an example, dollar price of euro. So remember my explanation just now, dollar price of euro. So essentially we are using this quote, right? This is dollar price of euro, or dollar value of euro. So euro is the anchor currency, whereas dollar is the reference currency. So based on the demand and supply mechanism here, we have the demand for, look at the anchor currency, right? This is euro. So dollar per euro. So this is demand for euro, and this is the supply of euro. So the equilibrium position is here with this quantity and with this price. So certain dollars per euro, maybe 105, 110 or something like that. So what are the factors that affect the equilibrium exchange rate? And we see actually there are a lot of factors, but here are the salient factors, the dominant or major factors that you can see from time to time. So the first one is interest rates, especially the real interest rate. So real interest rate is a nominal interest rate that has been adjusted with inflation rate. So we'll see this in our discussion on the parity conditions. But for now, let's imagine we have nominal interest rate. We have nominal rate, right? Nominal interest rate. Okay, and you have inflation rate. So if you adjust the nominal interest rate with inflation rate, then you get the real interest rate. A real interest rate. So again, based on the theory and also the common sense, you can imagine if a country, or let me rephrase my statement, a country with a higher real interest rate will be more interesting to investors, to traders, and all financial players, right? Of course, because again, real interest rate. So you have the real interest rate. Right? So if your country has a higher real interest rate, then many traders, many entrepreneurs, many dealers, and all sorts of financial players will come to that country because it has become more interesting. Okay, so a country with a higher real interest rate will experience appreciation, right? Currency appreciation, because many people will come to that country and will demand for that currency. However, we should remember that if you see the normally quoted interest rate, then we are talking about the nominal interest rate. So